The client is Menacon, and they're a Japanese contact lens manufacturer, and Menacon wanted to launch a new brand, Miru, into the European market. In Japanese, Miru means to see. The technology which we used enables the user to view 720 degrees. So rather than just being able to look left and right, the viewer can also look up and down.
360 as a technique for shooting is often can feel very sort of observational. And that was key to us. We didn't want to create another 360 experience. We wanted to create a film that allowed users to kind of find their own way through it.
As the idea was evolving, we knew that we were likely to be up in the air, so we started researching all the different types of vehicles that you could actually use to mount the camera system to. So we looked at everything from bigger helicopters to balloons and things like that, and we actually chose to engineer our own bespoke solution. None of the kind of existing things we sort of felt were quite right, so we actually built our own rig. It was actually made out of lightweight aluminium to keep the weight down, and basically featured the cameras arranged in a kind of spherical pattern, so they cover off the 360 both horizontally and vertically to cover off as much area as possible with a minimum number of cameras as possible, 6 in this case. And then the unit itself was then attached via a shaft to the Octocopter.
Skyjib is mainly carbon fibre. The props are made of wood. The reason we've gone for having 8 rotors is because you're able to have more precise control about how you're moving the air around the copter, and that makes it for a much more stable platform.
The computer inside here applies different amounts of thrust to each propeller. It can then tilt the copter to go to my left, or to my right, or tilt forward, backwards. It can apply the same power to all propellers, which will let it climb, reduce power, and it will come down. We have a GPS receiver, and that gives us the chance to put in waypoints, any number of waypoints with altitude on each waypoint, speed between each waypoint, and then it flies that predefined route.
We wanted to marry the 360-degree technique with a beautiful narrative. We didn't just want to have this experience where users just come in and literally just interact with the 360. We wanted to have a reason for it, so we wanted to have a start and an end to our narrative.
It starts off with a girl grabbing a teddy bear, cycling out of her, her house in the countryside, set in the sun. She jumps in a chopper and ties this big stack of balloons to her handlebars and sort of makes her way through the countryside. She's tied this teddy bear to one of the strings of the balloon and then just releases them. That's the moment the camera sort of sweeps around and catches up with them as they're sort of caught in the wind. That's when it becomes 360. The teddy bear is always in shot somewhere, sort of making its way through this landscape with the balloons, before finally we cut to a final shot which is no longer in 360, and we just have the teddy bear drift back into shot, and you see this girl's hands come up and reclaim the teddy bear.
And the little girl's called Maria. Her character is, she's very much a little tomboy. She's not like a little princess. She's a bit rough and ready. She has a super cool bike from the 70s. We're going to follow the balloons and the teddy bear via the Octocopter through various environments. We're not just using a normal GoPro. We're using Sony NEX7. It's like a mini SLR, so we're really trying to make it up the game a little bit and make it a little bit more cinematic.
We use the panoramic stitching software to actually pick corresponding points between all the different images, all the 6 different HD images that come off the cameras. The panoramic software then uses those points to actually match up the output from the cameras and eventually give you a complete spherical image, so you can look at it just on a normal 2D monitor. We can then stabilise the results. We have to model all the individual balloons and control their flight paths and to make sure that they're dressed nicely around the camera as you're flying through the space, ultimately to create our final 360 image with a grade in place, enhancing the colours and the sharpness and things like that to really bring out the scenery and the environment.